Next, we have Hot Tub Time Machine, which is probably the biggest release of the week. And that is the movie that Mike came with us to watch. So Mike was able to experience Hot Tub Time Machine.
Mike was able to dwell in our aura.
It was pretty impressive.
Now, let me say something. Let me say something. Before we talk about how dreadful Hot Tub Time Machine is, let me just say, and I think I speak for Wade. Wade, you can augment my comments now. People think that because we hate movies like Hot Tub Time Machine, we're like these elitist critics who like, sip our tea like that and just watch Merchant Ivory movies. That's not true. Hot Tub Time Machine freaking blows.
I just said I liked Reign of Fire.
That's true.
Okay.
I like American Pie.
I mean, that's a pretty strong admission. I gotta.
No, I like it too. You know what? It really has nothing to do with the fact that you and I may not like teen skewing comedies. The thing is that this movie is just not funny.
Look, we like American Pie. I even like American Wedding. Okay.
No, Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers, but
great.
American Wedding, the third in the American Pie series, which has no business being funny. I even like that one. Wedding Crashers is funny. Even The Hangover, for crying out loud, has its moments. But
comparatively, yes, The Hangover.
Comparatively,
oh, wait, you didn't talk to me yet.
But but even there's even stuff from the '80s. Look, Getting It On.
Getting It On?
Whatever.
You're
Hot Dog the Movie.
Hot Dog the Movie.
That is awesome. Which is kind of what this was taking bits and pieces from.
Yeah, that won the Oscar.
Trying to.
Okay, so anyway, what I'm saying is that because we don't want people to think we are elitist film critics, we brought producer Mike to check out the movie with us.
Right.
Now, Mike, come on.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Anything with John Cusack, simple rule, anything with John Cusack is good, right? It can't be bad. I like him in everything.
That was true up until about 1999.
No,
1999.
I enjoy him, and my rule is now completely shattered.
Yeah.
This was bad.
You didn't see War Inc.
No. War Inc. is dreadful.
I mean, look, here's the deal. I saw the trailers for this, so I said, I want to go see this. And if you like scatological humor, fourth grade humor, you'll like this. There literally were 4 jokes that revolved around puking. I don't want to give anything away. And we're talking, we were with this big hip-hop radio crowd, and that was all jazzed up and crazy right before the movie started, and there was not a laugh pretty much the whole time. It was very quiet.
The guy sitting next to me was doing a Beavis and Butthead laugh about every 18 seconds.
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm serious. It was about every 30 seconds. Well, on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, about every 30 seconds.
And here's my, and if you don't believe me, why don't we look at this clip, which really is, I guess, the highlight of the comedy. Well, all right, check it out. I don't know.
Just out of curiosity, what's the surprise?
Tell him. Kodiak.
Valley? No fucking way!
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Fucking K-Vals?
Yes, sir.
Holy shit, man! We fucking ski, right? We fucking rage. Chimney point at the end of the night with a bottle of scotch to wash it all down. Oh, and you guys are paying for the whole thing?
Sure.
Yep. Let's go tonight.
Yeah, we go tomorrow.
No, let's go now. Let's go now. I just gotta get rid of this thing. It's really uncomfortable.
Oh, you should wait for the nurse.
No, I got it.
No, wait, hold up.
No. Oh, shit. Did I get that on you? Damn it. Jesus. It's only pee. Relax. It's only pee.
So that's pretty much the tone. If you like that kind of stuff, I guess it's not my kind of thing, but that really is the tone of the whole movie, where it's not smartly written comedy. It's not, let's find something. It's throw this in and people will be grossed out and I guess laugh. That's the comedy that I saw they were going for.
It's a very simple equation. It's the movie is a throwback to 80s teen sex comedies because they go back to the 80s. So the idea was, let's make one of those kinds of movies from the 80s. Let's borrow a few things from Back to the Future, a little bit from Groundhog Day, and throw it all together, and we'll have a great retro movie that everyone who grew up during the 80s will love. They'll want to go see. Oh, it'll be so funny. Where's the Beef T-shirts? You'll love it. And we didn't love it, did we?
You know what? The problem is that it's not a spoof and it's not a satire. It doesn't want to spoof bad 80s comedies. It wants to be a bad 80s comedy.
That's it.
And that's the problem. It really has nothing to say about the era. It just puts these characters into the situation, and you look at the haircuts and you look at the T-shirts, and that's all it has to offer.
But
it really isn't funny.
I got to be honest, it didn't feel that 80s to me. And maybe we've done so much 80s stuff. Is this officially the death of the 80s? Which to me is a bad thing because I actually have an 80s band. and I'm really pissed at this movie.
Yeah.
Nice. That's the 80s band. But seriously, have we seen enough of the 80s? Because I got to be honest, even watching that, it didn't feel that 80s to me. It didn't even the clothes. Or are we just so used to it because we see it everywhere now that everybody does so much 80s stuff?
They didn't even get the music right. There's like a general public song. I mean, the movie takes place in '86, and there's a general public song that they play that didn't even come out till like '88.
Yeah,
you know,
same thing. Yeah, there was an end joke too that it was already there before.
Yeah, so it's not well done. I don't know. I don't think it's the end of the '80s. Anything that's well done is going to persist always. But here's the other thing that's interesting about this, just from a business standpoint. The way this movie was handled, you would have thought that this was Avatar, that this was like Star Wars Episode 1. The way the publicists were controlling the screening, the way that Mark was uninvited and then I was uninvited and then we both had to fight to get ourselves re-invited. I mean, there was a real security clearance.
Did they know, is that done because they know the movie's not great and they're trying not to get critics to watch it, that there's a problem?
Not so much. Yes and no. What's going on here is this is an MGM film. It's a UA film, but UA, MGM, UA, same company. MGM is on the block. MGM is for sale. And there is no other MGM-branded film that's going to be released in theaters within a substantial range of this current sale, which means that they, for better or worse, whether it makes sense or not, they figure how this film opens could conceivably impact the sale of the company. Now, that's silly. The company should be sold based on its library and its history and everything else, and the brand, but emotion being what it is, and stock buyers and sellers and people who buy companies being as irrational as they are, it's true. This literally could change one way or the other. It could shift the sale of the company. So I think there's some real fear that if this does not deliver on its opening weekend, that MGM could be sold for millions and millions less than what it's really worth.
It is funny because most of MGM's value is its library, which includes James Bond and RoboCop and whatnot. And it's funny how the fate of MGM is not in the hands of James Bond or Rocky Balboa, but Lloyd Dobler, okay?
Yeah.
John Cusack from Say Anything, who stars in Hot Tub Time Machine.
And when we saw that UA logo at the beginning, I turned to you and I said, UA, the company, and you finished it off.
The company that was started by Charlie Chaplin, Douglas Fairbanks, Mary Pickford, and D.W. Griffith is now releasing Hot Tub Time Machine. And by the way, you know, the 80s are so ripe to be destroyed with satire. It's not that it's some sacred thing. But it's just the...
the only 80s stuff is when they first get back to the 80s. And the story here is silly. A bunch of guys, their lives are messed up. They go on a vacation to where they used to go as buddies. They get in the time machine. They spill some pop juice on the time machine, on the hot tub controls, turns into a time machine, throws them back to the 80s. And you get this montage as soon as they arrive that suggests it's the 80s. There's Eddie Murphy on television. There's Ronald Reagan on television. There's Alf, leg warmers.
You're giving away the jokes.
But that montage is really, you're right. That montage was the only moment when it immersed you in the 80s, and the rest of it could have been any now.
And then I like time travel things, always great, but they literally stole a whole entire scene from Back to the Future.
Oh,
which
several.
I won't say what it is. I mean, and it wasn't a satire. It wasn't like let's give a little nod. They stole the scene.
Absolutely.
Well, it's funny because
it's completely stolen. It was ridiculous how you're just watching, going, really? Why would you do that? You think it's time past that? It's been that far since we've seen Back to the Future that we wouldn't know you stole that exact premise?
It is funny because even though the movie supposedly is a tribute to these 80s comedies, it's really a tribute to Back to the Future. Not only does Crispin Glover appear in the film, who played George McFly in Back to the Future, but the youngest member of the quartet that go back in time is this kid who's afraid he's not going to be born unless a certain sequence of events happens, which is what happens
right out of Back to the Future.
Right out of Back to the Future. So really, the movie is just, it is just not, I guess I laughed a couple times. Craig Armstrong from The Office. That guy is funny. I love that guy. He is funny. Everything he does, he's the funniest thing in this movie.
He is.
All the pieces were funny. All the actors, really funny. And then you put it together in this, and I'm like, I just feel bad for him.